I wandered through a strange city alone on the other side of the world. A loudspeaker droned on as the Quran was repeated time and time again to signal the beginning of Ramadan. To me, this was nothing more than an annoyance. My day had been ruined, or so I thought. My smartphone lay smashed to pieces in my hostel room, the result of a careless accident stepping off a train. I walked quickly in a tunnel vision of rage and frustration created in my own mind, ignoring my surroundings completely. Without access to Instagram or even my camera, there was no possibility of taking photos. After 30 minutes of strolling without direction, it became clear to me that I was completely lost. 30 minutes became 1 hour, then 1 hour became two. I suddenly noticed that a smile had crept upon my face. Ideas came rushing into my mind. Interesting ideas, creative ideas. I began to notice the environment around me, and what an interesting city it was. The droning of the Quran over the loudspeaker had lost its annoyance. It transformed into something soothing, hypnotizing, spiritual. The sun had begun setting behind the horizon, turning the sky a mixture of orange and red. Despite the frustration I had felt just hours earlier, the future now seemed filled with opportunity and hope. The light seemed to sparkle in a way I hadn't noticed before, and my eyes felt wide open, awake, and focused. I had tapped into a feeling that I hadn't felt in a long, long time. How long had it been since I felt like this? Months? Years, even? So long that I had forgotten a feeling like this could even exist. And I thought to myself that I needed to capture this feeling and keep it for the rest of my life. I needed to quit technology, quit modernity, and live somewhere wild and free, because this was the way human beings are supposed to feel. The truth is, we live in a world filled with advertising. That's advertising on billboards on the street, on shopping windows of H&M or Zara, on your social media networks, either Instagram influencers or even your friends who are advertising themselves. Everyone seems to be having a better life than you. As you consume this media, certain thoughts might sneak into your mind. Thoughts like, I need to go to the gym more. Maybe I should start a business. I need a nice suit. I need to become more fashionable. I need to start earning more money. Maybe I can become a pro gamer. I could start streaming and become e-famous. I need to get a six-pack. The self-talk just goes on and on. And this cycle was started and is maintained by advertising and social media sources that you're always exposed to. Many people, and this may be you, constantly imagine themselves in a new, improved future life with an improved version of themselves. What happens when you compare yourselves to these images of people is that your mind begins to think that these people have a higher standing in the tribe than you, because our brains are built for the tribal environment. You begin to feel unsatisfied, and generally you get the feeling that almost like everything you've done in your life up until this point has been wrong. You kind of feel like the party is somewhere else and you're not there. Your evolutionary instincts kick in. You start to feel kind of low status. You begin to feel like what you're doing right now is not good enough. Even if you're doing something interesting, you could be traveling in an interesting place. You could be working on one of your hobbies. If you see enough of these kind of images, you'll feel like what I'm doing is not good enough. The problem is that this conclusion was made by looking at media images around you. Because the truth is, your lizard brain can't actually tell the difference, really, between pixelated people on your screen, these perfect images of people, and real human beings. The lizard brain treats these pixelated, perfect human beings that we see on our screen as actually real people. And then it compares ourselves to these images. Because after all, when the lizard brain evolved millions of years ago, there were no screens and there was no electricity. There was no way of generating pixels or even taking a photograph. So the brain is not really adapted to deal with photographs or pixelated images of people. So it just assumes that the image is a real person. Of course, it's a trick because, first of all, there is no tribe for you to be low status in. And the so-called superior people on your screens, they're not people. They're pixels generated by electricity. Seeing constant immediate images of others Seeing constant media images of others who seem to be doing perfect builds a kind of need inside you to, as they say, make it. Instead of the present moment being where you live your life, instead you're living your life in your imagination in the future. So the present moment becomes just a stepping stone into the future. We just want to get through what we're doing right now to reach our new improved future version of ourselves. And in doing that, you lose awareness of everything that's around you. You lose appreciation of just, for example, walking through the city and people watching, or just enjoying a day with blue skies and sunshine. These things don't matter anymore because your focus is always on trying to get to the future, because the media images you're seeing keep telling you that what you're doing right now is not good enough. But then what happens when you spend some time away from your screens and away from your advertising billboards? Can you remember how you felt the last time you went on a long hike in the mountains or across fields? If you were away from your technology for at least 1 or 2 hours, can you remember what that felt like? And next time you do spend some time away from your screens, try to notice how exactly you feel inside. Because I guarantee it, even after just 2 hours away from your screens, you will feel different and you might just feel a little bit more positive. Now, if you want to compare yourself to people, don't compare yourself to media images because they have been filtered, they have been retouched, and at the end of the day, they're not real people. They are pixels and they are perhaps ink in photographs. Instead of that, if you want to compare yourself, which you're inevitably going to do, compare yourself to the actual human beings in your environment. If you walk around the street and you look around at everybody around you, you might find that when you compare yourself to them, you're in pretty good standing. The average person on the street doesn't seem to be doing that much better than you. I would guess that if you started comparing yourselves to the actual people you saw in the physical world, the flesh and blood people, as you walk down the street, look at everybody else that you're walking past, old people, people your own age, children. Is everybody else really doing that much better than you? You might find that when you start comparing yourself to real people that you realize you're actually doing pretty well, that you're not low status in the so-called tribe that your mind believes yourself to be in. Comparing yourselves to actual physical people in the environment is accurate data. A change in mindset is required. The party isn't in a nightclub. It's not on a millionaire's yacht filled with, hot chicks. It's not in a different country from where you are right now. It's certainly not on your screens. And the party is also not in the future. The party is exactly where you are right now. Whatever situation that may be, if you're working a boring job, if you're studying for school, if you're just walking through the city on a normal day, that is where the party is. It is not elsewhere. It is exactly where you are right now. Because after all, the only time that truly exists is now.